Hello, Janesville. Welcome back to Park Place Views, the monthly program that aims to keep Janesville residents informed by highlighting the people, places, and partners of the city of Janesville. As always, this program is proudly brought to you by the City of Janesville and JATV Media Services. I'm Peyton Walz, your host, and the communications intern in the city manager's office. Last month, we had the pleasure of sitting down with the Janesville Fire Chief, Ryan Murphy, to delve into all aspects of fire safety and to explore his experiences with his newly appointed role. It was an insightful discussion, shedding light on his journey and the important work being done to keep our community safe. Make sure you take a look if you missed it. Today, we have a special guest joining us, the Superintendent of the Janesville School District, Mark Holzman. And it's clear that he brings a lot of passion and is highly skilled at his job. Mr. Holzman, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Park Place Views.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, would you like to just start by introducing yourself and explain what the day-to-day role of a superintendent looks like?
Well, great. Again, Mark Holzman. This will be starting my third year here in the School District of Janesville. I think the one beautiful thing about working as a superintendent is every day is a little different. A lot of it revolves around communication and collaboration. So we're planning, we're talking, and potentially motivating that. I'm listening, so I could be responding to emails, I could be talking to our board members, I could be in classrooms or in schools working with our principal leaders. So every day is a little bit different, but a lot of it has to do with just communication and collaboration and providing leadership towards our goals.
That's excellent. And then what are those goals for the up-and-coming school year?
So generally in the School District of Janesville, we have three goals, and those are moving kids forward in specifically reading, math, and attendance. At each level, we have a little different metrics on how we use those goals. For our elementary and middle school kids, we use the Wisconsin Forward exam. And for our high school kids, we measure that through ACT. And we're just trying to improve the number of kids who are proficient or advanced in reading and math. And we're trying to increase the number of kids who are attending regularly.
Right. Yeah, those are great goals. I remember taking the ACT and all those testings in middle school and high school, and it's a lot of pressure, but if they're prepared, it makes you feel a lot better about that. So I like those goals. Yeah. For sure. Can you explain your career path that led you up to this superintendent role?
Sure. I started as a high school social studies teacher, and as a high school social studies teacher, as also a basketball coach and like the prom advisor and assistant, all kinds of student council, those things. And I worked actually in a small school on the eastern side of the state in Elkhart Lake. From there, I had an opportunity to work in administration in the Fond du Lac area school district. So I was a high school assistant principal, a middle school assistant principal, an elementary principal, and then my career moved to a high school principal, a central office assistant superintendent, and my job before here was a superintendent in the school district of Manitowoc. And so this will be my third year here in Janesville.
There you go. It seems like you've been all over the place.
I have done a lot of different jobs. I think one thing that's helped me is that I've at least had a stop at every level, whether it's high school, elementary school, middle school, and the central office. So it gives me some perspective when I'm thinking about how do we work with kids and how do we work with staff, and that's helped me along the way.
Oh, exactly. You're very well-rounded with all age groups, which seems very important for a superintendent to be. Has being a superintendent always been like the goal for you?
Yeah, not at all. I think not even being an administrator was a goal. I think early on I was just trying to manage doing what I could with kids. And some people who were around me said, I think you would be a good leader. So I took some of those roles and responsibilities. And the more you spend time working in school, sometimes you think, I could potentially do that. So I continued my education, went back to school, got the licensure, the certificates, and all the pieces behind that. And just continued to evolve through my career from high school. Then I was an assistant superintendent, and then from there the next step. So I think I've always had some aspiration of being a leader, whether I was an athlete or a teacher. But I guess I never really expected that I was going to be a superintendent till probably somewhere in my career as a high school principal. I thought, maybe I could do this.
Right. Are there any key experiences that you've learned from your past roles that you've played a part in that have helped you be a superintendent besides just the gaining perspective?
Yeah, I think, I grew up in rural Wisconsin, and my family owned, they call it a hobby farm, but I don't know that any farm is hobby
Right.
in my world. So we had a couple hundred acres, and so I learned early on about just hard work and dedication that's necessary. I also learned that through collaboration, you can learn from a lot of other people. So I don't ever go into something thinking I know the most. I think there's opportunities to learn and grow. The best example I can give you is that I was a high school assistant principal, and our superintendent called me in one summer and said, we really want you to be our next elementary principal. And I said, I don't know how to be an elementary principal. And he said, you know how to lead, and so allow the people to do their job, you support them, and along the way you'll learn how to be an elementary principal. And so that kind of has been the model I have. I didn't know when I first became a superintendent how to do the job necessarily. I knew about people and leadership in schools, but along the way you let people do their job and you kind of support them has really helped me.
Right. Yeah, that's a great explanation. So going into this next school year, we're almost there, and as we approach it, do you have any advice for your students, your staff, any parents for the school year to be as effective and successful?
Yeah, I think early on, just starting to get up in the mornings before school starts. We start the Tuesday after Labor Day. So, even if it's this week and next week, let's get up whatever our typical time and start that routine. It's getting ourselves engaged in the reading, trying to understand what our schedules might be. All of our schools will have welcome backs next week, so take and participate in that. For our teachers, I think it's just making sure that we're passionate about what we do and we have compassion for our kids. Our teachers are back right now and they're all learning a little bit about the curriculum initiatives, what the school goals are. They're setting up their lessons for the weeks ahead. So they understand what that looks like, and then just working collaboratively with their peers to make sure that they're able to take their knowledge and glean a little bit from other people's, I think is the best advice I can give.
Right. I'm sure you guys are all very ready to start the school year. I feel like at the end of August, we're just ready to get back.
Yeah, I think the philosophy I always say is sometime in May, we can't wait to get out.
Yep.
And then sometime in August, we can't wait to get back.
Exactly.
And so we're excited about everybody coming back.
And then as a superintendent, I understand that you have to make a lot of ethical decisions about staffing and budgets. And how do you navigate those complicated decisions that might positively or negatively impact a lot of people?
Yeah, I think always we just have to make a vision about what's best for kids. And so if we have what kids first, I think that we can make positive decisions. Those decisions sometimes are always challenging, and when we're dealing with adult issues or we're dealing with budget issues. But ultimately, we have to figure out the best way we can supply outcomes for our kids. So, our mission statement continues to be to partner with our community to inspire and empower kids to achieve at their highest level. That has to be the purpose of making those difficult decisions. So as long as we're connecting to our mission, I think we'll make good decisions.
Excellent. Yeah, as long as those students are the top priority, it seems like.
Absolutely.
And then earlier in our interview, you were talking about how your leadership has been recognized as being really good, and it's helped you achieve these roles and everything. So can you please describe your leadership style?
I hope I'm a servant leader,
Right.
And so I want to make sure that within that, I aspire to serve all of our students, our staff. For me, I have an opportunity to work regularly with the leadership team and our building principals. I do visit schools, so I try to be present within those buildings. I'll have 4 or 5 days a year where I'll substitute for one of our staff members. First, to try to get me back into the buildings and learn a little bit about what it does. And it's also at heart, I'm a teacher. And so that allows me to get back into the classroom a little bit. But I also hope at some point I'm transformational, meaning that I'm inspiring people to be the best that they can be. And I'm giving them some examples and opportunities for them to be the best that they can be. And that's always my goal.
And then can you share an example of how you've managed a team of professionals?
Yeah, so I think throughout my entire career, at least as a building principal, you're managing, hundreds of teachers.
Right.
As a superintendent of schools, I really have about 7 direct reports, people who are directors who directly report to me, who I evaluate and give feedback to. But then we have, 20 building principals. From there, we have 1,800 employees who, generally I'm their boss. So for that, I have to be able to provide some very succinct and really focused goals so that we're all striving for the same thing. And those goals continues to be the best outcomes for our kids. So for me, working with our leadership team, we came up with 3 goals, specifically in reading, math, and attendance, trying to make sure that all of our buildings and all of our folks know that they make a difference, whether I'm serving food, cleaning the rooms, or teaching kids. And those goals are to help kids move forward and achieve at their highest level. And we're going to measure that through some of those forward and ACT. So that has been really a transformational piece for us, because before we really didn't incorporate everybody in those goals. Really, it was the classroom teachers. And now we're really trying to incorporate and have people understand what their role is, no matter what position they hold in the district, to help support student learning.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I feel like just growing up and going to school, elementary school, middle school, high school, I can remember like key figures that have really made an impact on me. And sometimes it's not just teachers. When I was in elementary school, we had pen pals, and I had a pen pal that was the lunch lady. And for my birthday, she like got me this necklace, and it was super sweet. And like that's just a key memory I have. And so all those staff, doesn't matter if it's only teachers or anybody else in the building, they can really make an impact on students. So I love hearing that from you, that you oversee all these people and you try to inspire them and motivate them to be the best they can be. So how do you motivate your staff and your students to be the best they can be?
Yes, first thing I try to do is just be relational and talk to them. Like, I'm a person trying to do the best that I can, and I need you to help do the same. I try to get them examples. You know, I use the example all the time about my all-time favorite, and I have a second grade teacher. Her name is Mrs. Woodson. She's my all-time favorite. And I tell people, I also can talk about who my all-time favorite person in the cafeteria. I have a fifth grade outside recess aide that I can name to this point. And the reality is that the beauty of education is that we have the ability to be somebody's all-time favorite. And we all can easily articulate some of the favorite teachers we had. And it wasn't so much about what they taught us, it was more about what they made us feel, right? And so then because we believed in them and they believed in us, we probably could do just about anything with them. And that could be many different pieces. And most of the time, that's just the relational conversations that we have every day. It's, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? And then it's quizzing people about how they, what their life is, and just being interactional. So that's the first thing I try to do, is like, I'm no different than anybody else. I've had successes and I've had failures. I have great days, I have bad days. But ultimately, I want to make sure that I'm empowering people to be the best that they can be. And then their job is to empower the kids to be the best that they can be. And so that's the strategy, I guess, that I have, is helping them understand that the outcome for our kids is great, right? That you have the chance to be somebody's all-time favorite. And with that, they have a chance to be great human beings.
Yeah. No, I love that. I can remember like key figures from just growing up. I know my fourth grade teacher, Miss Churf, and my sixth grade English teacher. And there's just like, you remember those people. They make a huge impact on you. And so I love hearing that. You mentioned that at the community breakfast earlier this summer. So that just really resonated with me. So I'm glad that you spoke about that again. So I have noticed that the Janesville School District is known for its community involvement. And so how do you prioritize your community involvement, and what sort of engagement activities are you looking forward to?
Yeah, well, I serve on a number of boards within our community, whether it's the United Way for Blackhawk Tech region. I'm on the Blackhawk Technical College board. I serve on board for a local hospital. So I try to engage in that. In addition to that, I have regular meetings. I have a meeting with Chief Pearson, whether it's Kevin Lehner, whether it's our new fire chief, and try to just engage in those conversations so that I'm present. And I'm also try to be in our community to try to support that. I work closely with Forward Janesville. They have an education committee so that we work together to talk a little bit about what our system and goals are and how we can help them. And then they talk about what they're hearing from the community and leaders and how we might be able to incorporate that. So I think that those are probably the key pieces. You know, from my community, I try to be present at whether it's a swim meet or a basketball game or a musical. I try to be present there and talk about the great things that we do in our school district. And then regularly I meet with local agencies, whether it's a morning Rotary or some kind of a Lions Club or whatever that be talking about our school district and just engaging in the community about the things that are going on in our schools and the great things that we have to offer.
I love that. Seeing staff attend, especially those like musicals and the swim meets and the basketball games and the football games, like just seeing their presence there and knowing that, oh, they support me in this, it means a lot and it goes a really long way. So that's an excellent answer. So thank you for that.
Sure.
And then going into this 2024-2025 school year, what approaches are you going to make to support the teachers and the staff in adapting and integrating new methods of teaching?
So, like I mentioned, our teachers are back. Last week we had our new teachers and we oriented them for a few days. We brought all our new staff back. And so one example is we worked with Forward Janesville. We all met out at Black Hawk Technical College and we took a bus tour through 3 businesses and through the city of Janesville just to orientate our people about who we are here in Janesville and what some of our key businesses and places are. And that helps us really just kind of invigorate people about, well, I'm working here, but what else is beside the schools? And so that's a great opportunity for us to really connect our teachers and staff together. And then throughout the summer, we've been working hard on our student data and our goals. And so our elementary teachers have all gone through about a 30-hour training over this last year for some reading curriculum. That specifically was given some requirements from the state level of they were trying to upgrade some of our teaching methods, specifically in teaching reading. And so our teachers have been hard at it, specifically in elementary school. And then all of our staff give us feedback on how our curriculum is engaging with kids. And so at times we make some curriculum adjustments, and those adjustments really are led by teachers who have feedback within their system or their genre that they're teaching, and we try to incorporate those on a regular basis. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is no different than we've been trying to do for years. We want kids to have great outcomes, and the challenge is just how do we go about doing that with technology, with the changing landscape and jobs. We know likely that our elementary school kids right now, the jobs that we're going to be training them for don't exist. And so the challenge is we really just need them to be able to read, write, calculate, and solve problems. Those will then allow them to have all kinds of options when they walk out of our school district, whether that's the military, whether that's a technical college, that's a trade school, whether they're going to college or the workplace, that we've prepared them to be able to solve problems and be marketable when they leave us. And that's, I think, ultimately our goal and our challenge for the curriculum.
Right. That's a great point. You just want to create this baseline because who knows what's going to be out there in the future. I'm sure there's hundreds of jobs that exist now that didn't exist back then. So that's a really good point that you bring up. And it sounds like you're very passionate about education, and I love hearing that from you. And you've worked in education for a while now, so what do you think continues to drive that passion?
I love working with kids, so I'm a kid-first guy. Anytime I can get engaged with students, that's my passion. I also love working with people, and I love inspiring people to be the best that they can be. So my goal every day is to do something to make someone's day, and so I try to do that, whether you're working, again, as our custodian, food service, bus driver, aide, classroom teacher. I just want to try to do what I can to help make your day so that you can help make somebody else's day. So
yeah.
That's my passion.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a great answer. And then I know that in high-profile jobs, sometimes it's hard to separate your work-life balance. So do you think that you yourself have a healthy work-life balance, and how do you manage that?
It's a great question because over the summer, I probably have a pretty decent work-life balance.
Right.
It's difficult. Like, I think the reality is as superintendent, you're on always. So, if I'm in the public eating at a local restaurant, people recognize me as, so sometimes people will come up and you'll have conversations about things and you're like, well, I just kind of want to eat dinner here.
Right.
But I think that's part of, I've just grown into that. I understand that. For me, taking care of myself is a little bit of that. So I'm a runner, so I try to do that and take time to maybe just get away. You can run with groups, but I tend to run by myself and just kind of let my thoughts kind of go. So I do that. I know that sleep is really important, and the better I am at taking care of that, the better I am at being healthy. So just trying to eat healthy, exercise a little bit, and then I've got a great family. I've got 2 adult kids. I've got a granddaughter, wonderful wife. So those family people, my parents are still alive, and so that's helped me, I think, just continue to be the best that I can be.
Right. That's a great response. It sounds like you have a little bit of balance of everything in your life, and I'm sure during the summer it's a lot easier than during the school year, but it seems from the outside that you're doing a great job managing it all, so congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then our last question today, just forward thinking about the rest of the school year and the up-and-coming school years. You mentioned that the 3 goals of the writing and the reading and the testing and the attendance, all that stuff is very important to you, but do you have any other goals besides those that you plan on achieving, not just next year or this year, but 10 years in the future?
Yeah, I think the simple place would be I want our school district to be the district of destination, that where people want to come, whether you're working or learning or just in our community. Ultimately, we want a great place to learn, a great place to work, and a great school for our community. So I think that's the long version of that. We also have a referendum coming up to our community in November. And so there's a lot of conversation about what the needs are and how we're going to go about communicating that. Some of it is structural. We have some old buildings that we need to continue to renovate, and we need some support from our community in that. So that's some short-term goals that we definitely have to talk about, and we're continuing to do. But ultimately, we want Janesville to continue to be a great place. And by doing that and hiring great people, by motivating people to be the best that they can be, I hope that we will be a district of destination and that people will go, oh, I know they got great stuff going on there.
Yeah, that's a fantastic answer. Do you have anything else you wanted to say to the vast community of Janesville?
Well, first I just say I've been here now a couple of years and I felt very welcome. So thank you to the community who just kind of made me feel part of this community. And again, the old proverb of it takes a community to raise a child or a school is very true. And we do need feedback and partnerships with all of our community members. If you're a senior, you can go to any of our after-school curricular events for free. You can just stop in a central office. We want people to come and see the talents of our kids, so we encourage people to do that, whether it's a play or a basketball or a football or a swim meet. But anything that we can do, if you have questions specifically for the schools or school district, feel free to contact me and I'll be happy to talk to you about our school district.
Okay, excellent. That's a great answer. Now, before we wrap things up, in the spirit of going back to school, I thought it would be pretty fun to play a game. So there's this game show hosted most recently by John Cena called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Great show. All you have to do is correctly answer these 5th grade level questions that were posted to real-life contestants on the show. So let's see if the superintendent of the Janesville School District is in fact smarter than a 5th grader. Are you ready?
Do I get to phone a friend if I... Let's see.
I don't know about that one.
Okay.
You got this, though.
All right.
I believe in you. So the first question, starting out with an easy one. What is the plural form of the word goose?
Geese.
Geese, that's correct.
Yes.
Question number 2. What does a paleontologist study?
Rocks. Oh, dinosaurs.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
yes. I mean,
All
yeah,
right.
I guess,
Rocks,
like fossils, rocks,
fossils,
dinosaurs,
yeah,
all,
dinosaurs. All right.
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
okay,
there you go.
Next question. Who painted the Mona Lisa?
Well, I was going to say Leonardo DiCaprio, but that would be wrong, right? That would be...
Close.
Yeah. Mona Lisa. Picasso?
No, Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
So
there you go.
Yeah, you were so close.
Right?
You're so close.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, next question. Maine borders which U.S. state?
Maine borders. New York?
Close.
Rhode Island?
Less close.
Maine borders. Delaware?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire,
All right,
yes.
all right.
No, all those
That's
England.
It?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah,
only,
that's it. That's
only
the,
New Hampshire.
That's the
I know
tip.
it's the farthest up there.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, all those New England states
All
or
right, we're
whatever.
fine.
They're all jumbled
Yes.
around. All right, next question. What are the 3 stages of matter?
Oh my goodness. Is it like water? Matter is liquid, gas, and solid?
That's it. Yeah, good job. All
right.
right, here we go. The next question. How many zeros are in the numerical form of 1 million?
Oh my gosh. Numerical form of 1 million. So 1,000 is 3, 100,000 is 6, so a million is 9?
Close. A million is 6.
6.
So,
1, 2. All right, I'll go with it.
yeah, there we go. It's all right. Next question. Which continent is the least populated?
Antarctica?
Yes, that's correct. Next question. How many months in the calendar year have exactly 30 days?
You know, there's something you're supposed to do on your
Yeah,
hand
the like
with
knuckle
that.
trick. Yeah.
Exactly 30 days, you say? How
Exactly
many
30
months have
days.
exactly 30 days? 3.
Close. 4.
4. All
Yeah.
right. I don't know. I was guessing.
Yeah. Well, out of 12, only 4. Like that. That seems
you
so
know
crazy.
what? There's something you can do on
Yeah,
your
for, like,
knuckle,
June,
but I don't.
July,
I
yeah.
don't remember exactly. It was something. All right.
Okay. Next question. We're almost there.
All right,
the
thank
Statue of Liberty was a gift from, or the Statue of Liberty was a gift to the U.S.
Yes.
from what country?
I believe France.
Yes, correct. There you go. I need
right.
like a dinger, like a ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
All right.
Julius Caesar is the emperor of which empire?
Oh my goodness. Which empire?
Yeah.
Is Rome an empire?
Yes, the Roman Empire.
Oh, okay.
Yep, there you
All
go. Okay, this one's kind of tricky. When was the first day of the 20th century?
The first day of the 20th century. January 1st, 1900.
1901. There you go. Yeah, because
01?
the 18th ends in the 1900, and then
all right,
the next
all
one
right.
starts. Yep,
We'll go
there
with
you
that.
go.
Thank you.
Okay, last one.
Yes.
You got this.
All right.
All right. In what country were fireworks first invented?
I would probably say China.
Yep, there you go.
All right.
That's correct. Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Mr. Holzman, thank you so much for joining me and playing Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Thank you.
That was so much fun. And then thank you all for joining me on this episode of Park Place Views. Your leadership in our community it's very clear to see that you excel in your role. So thank you so much for what you do. And then I want to extend my appreciation for our viewers and residents. Thank you for tuning in today. Your support and engagement are what makes the Janesville community such a supportive and inclusive community. And we would be delighted to have you stay connected with us through our various social media platforms. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook to keep up with the latest updates, exciting events, and all the wonderful happenings in our city. By staying connected, you'll be able to be the first to know about all the up-and-coming events, local highlights, and special announcements. So don't miss out on the chance to engage with us and be a part of our growing online community. For Park Place Views and the City of Janesville, as always, I'm Peyton Walz. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and remember to join us again next time.